Hey everyone, welcome to day 21. Today is the 23rd of March and we are learning something new. It's called Docker and it is different from Linux where it's not an OS, right? It's a open source platform that allows you to, deploy and manage your applications through containerization. So just to give you an example, imagine you are working on setting up a end-to-end application stack and you require a lot of different other apps such as Node.js for the web server, MongoDB for the database, Redis for messaging system, and Ansible for orchestration tool. Those are just some examples. You can use different types or you can have more than this, but you need a lot for just an application stack, right? So in order to coordinate a bunch of these tools is pretty challenging. You can run into things like compatibility issues, like how do you make sure all of them work on the same OS versions, and onboarding complexity, which is when if you have someone new working along, like joining the team, like you have to set up their environments with everything, all of these, how do you make sure that everything will stay consistent? That's why we need Docker, or rather containers. So containers, why we need them? Well, they solve the issue around inconsistent environments, like when working in really big companies, big teams. Because before containers or even virtual environments, like there were a lot of issues and time loss caused by having to, set up someone joins in, you have to set it up for them, like install and configure all their local environments in order to build projects with them, and also isolate dependencies. Container will definitely help you prevent conflicts between services and maintain consistency, right? Okay, that's what we need containers, but what are they? So containers are lightweight and portable, and they're isolated software environments. They allow developers to run and package applications with their dependencies and consistently across different platforms. So basically they help us streamline the development process, the deployment process, and the management process, while also ensuring that the application runs consistently regardless of the underlying infrastructure. So we've talked about the OS system before, so let's go back. Let's just do a refresher. So we have kernel and user space. We've talked about both of these before, where kernel interacts directly with hardware, and user space is things like the system libraries, applications, and user interface. So Docker leverages the host's kernel, which allows the container to run any Linux-based distribution on the same system. But if you don't have Linux, such as me, I have a Mac, then Docker will utilize a virtual machine to emulate the Linux kernel. So this enables cross-platform compatibility. So we talked about virtual machine. So what is the difference between container and virtual machine? Or what are the benefits one over the other? Well, let's start with isolation level. Virtual machines, they're in complete isolation with a full operating system for each virtual machine. Whereas Docker container, they have a process level isolation with a shared kernel. And resource usage, virtual machines obviously use a lot more resources because they have a full operating system for each virtual machine, so it will be in the gigabytes, whereas Docker is really lightweight and only in the megabytes. And since virtual machines have to boot up a whole operating system each time, it will take minutes to boot, whereas Docker will only take a few seconds. And once again, disk space, obviously virtual machines will have a larger footprint due to all the OS instances, whereas Docker will have very minimal overhead. So yeah, as you can see, even though virtual machines provide full isolation, they consume a lot more resources and time, whereas container, they share the host's operating system kernel, which offers the most efficient alternative, which is ideal for rapid development and scalability. So with Docker installed, launching an application is super easy. Simply run the command docker run and whatever you want to run, Ansible, MongoDB, Redis, Node.js, and you're done. And if a container fails, it can be replaced super easily, super fast, which ensures minimal downtime. So those are the advantages of Docker. So as you can see, it's very important for DevOps to be familiar with it because it just helps speed things up, keep things neat and tidy, and just make sure everything is consistent and everything goes right. So that's why I'll be drifting away from Linux for now. I'll be doing like revision and maybe more study on my own time, but for now, in these videos, I'll be mainly focusing on Docker for the rest of the week or so. So yeah, this is my introduction to Docker. I already have it installed and everything, so I'm ready to play around with it. But for now, this is the intro done. Thanks for watching. See you guys tomorrow.